Alright, welcome everyone to the Trackstars TS2 Eiffel sprint around the Nurburgring GP. Got a good matchup of cars tonight, and from the pre-qualifying we've got Eiffel Z, Nurburgring 964, Ram 50, Mint Matt, and SDRT Mazda. Looks like it's going to be in for a good night of racing. Hopefully see some good battles going on and see who will take the win around this lovely old Nurburgring Grand Prix circuit. Starting off with 8 minutes of qualifying and then 2 10-lap races. Unfortunately, Eats Racing couldn't join me tonight in the commentary box. He had a family emergency, but hopefully I'm good enough and we'll see what we can do. Practicing, got a nice time there, 142.080. Zala 96 with a 144 flat. SDRT Mazda with a 144.1. Ruggles with a 145.2. Chef Toddy with a 146.3. Duran 50 heading out, and Robbo Sport, Mickey's, Devil and Calypso, Little Blacko, Viper Z, and Jono Stan still in the pits. Over in Kiwi Land in the Lexus ICF, Chef Toddy in the Nissan, Duran 50 also in the Nissan, Mickey's also in the Nissan, with Viper in the Nissan also, Robo Sport, Devil and Calypso, Mint Matt, SDRT Mazda, Little Blacko, all in Nissans with Jono Stan and Zolo 96 also in the Lexus. As we get ready to go racing very shortly. Hopefully all the races are ready to go. Oh, we've got late joiner in here, Magical Wax. To be of commentary, so don't mind me if I make a few mistakes. I'll be by myself at the moment. We'll see if Mr. Spudley will end up joining us. Yeah, we'll go from there. Just a couple of hiccups here with some people joining, not joining. Everyone's all up to spec. The only sole Honda in the field tonight is from Mr. Nightwalker down here. Where is he at? There he is. The only Honda in the field tonight. We'll see what he can convert in results of the Honda. As we see in the main series, the Honda is very well. As I'm joined here by my fellow commentator N Spud P666, ready for the Eiffel sprint around the Nurburgring for the TS2.
Oh, we're live. Ah, great stuff. Yes, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, welcome to Trackstars TS2. We just wrapped up our pre-qualifications, and our top 5 from pre-qualifying was in the name of the fastest driver in pre-qualifying, Duran 50 for CP Motorsports, and the number 50 in leading the charge ahead of Viper Z. He was pulling a lot of duties on this very day, racing TS2 and also racing in a very special 24-hour that we've posted to our community last night. That the Trackstars Racing Series is getting himself involved in a 24-hour event, and Viper Z is a part of the team in the GT class. So there's a lot on his plate for him. In third place we had Night Walker 964 from the WRT Motorsport Racing Group and the Honda NSX. So the only Honda NSX to qualify in the top 5 in the pre-qualifying. In fourth place, it was Jono Stan 96. Last time's out previous automatic entry had to do all the pre-qualifying, but we all know Jono Stan 96 as being a top driver and a fast driver, and he got himself up into fourth place. And the final driver that qualified for the main TS2 split is SDRT Shadon Racing Team Mazda, in qualifying in 5th place for the pre-qualification. So that is our top 5 in pre-qualifying. We're only missing one driver in the name of JMX from the Toll Mash Buds Racing, but he is going to be a bit delayed, so I believe we might have to get this session underway.
Yeah, well,
as we see on screen, the previous winner of the Trackstars TS2 from the highest qualifying grid, from the highest qualifying in Split 2 was Matt. So he showed great performance last time out in Barcelona to take a few victories and put pressure on Duran 50 in that last race at Catalonia. And he's also been joined by Highlander 215, who won Split 2 around Catalonia last time out in the last couple of weeks. So we're getting our drivers ready. We've got 14 drivers, I believe it is. So 14 drivers ready to go and getting themselves ready for qualifying here at Trackstars TS2 Touring Cars. And yes, like you said, we got DJ back in the commentary box for us tonight. Not so sure if our usual commentator Jarman Dallas It's Racing is going to join us again, but he may come in for a sneak appearance or two, so who knows, maybe watch out for this space very soon.
yeah, well, as I was saying earlier, he had a family emergency he had to duck off to. That's why I'm trying to fill the void, and I was saying I'm not as great as him, but I'll just try and see what we can. But hopefully he can be back for the main race tonight, but if not, he's got a driver on standby just in case he can't make it.
All our thoughts are with Jarman on this on his visit to the hospitals for his grandfather, like he did mention. So yeah, our thoughts are with you, Jarman, and we hope to get you back in the racing scene, whether it's tonight or maybe if you want to have a nice little break. You're more than welcome just to take the night off and have a bit of and make it a drop round, I guess. You're always going to be with your loved ones, especially in these difficult times that is plaguing the world, that is COVID-19. So it's a very stressful time here in Australia, and most of the country is being locked down. So in a way, it's just the best way to get together is, I guess, sim racing.
Yeah, exactly. So obviously we know it's pretty hard so far with the whole COVID situation and stuff like that, but we got to try and do what we can. As qualifying has just started, we've got a 5-minute qualifying session followed by 2 10-lap races, and we'll see who can take the maiden win around the Nurburgring GP.
Exactly right. So I wonder who have you got your money on, ladies and gentlemen, for pole position? We've got 5.5 or 4.5 almost 4.5 minutes before the end of the session. So money's on, maybe not money's on because we don't want to promote gambling, but fake money's on. We'll put some monopoly money. Why not? Put some monopoly money. So how much we're going to put on for pole position? I think if I had to pick a driver and possibly going on based on current performance, I will have to actually put the underdog Duran. Oh, maybe not an underdog Duran 50. I'll make him my prediction for pole position.
Yeah,
He's been showing great performance in TS2 and in pre-qualifying, and even in the races himself, putting in fights against the likes of Viper Z, Matt, Jono Stan, and we had no idea who Duran 50 was before he showed up at the Blue Moon Bay Infield A 250 and the 100, and he just showed pure class in taking a clean sweep, and since then he's never looked back.
Yeah, exactly. I might actually have to put my money on Duran 50 as well, but he's doing a solid performance. I can't English. He's doing a solid standout for CP Motorsports, and he will be backing up with, I believe, is he with Papa in the Enduros?
No, he's so Papa's, well, he's got DQ, so Duran is unfortunately available for the Enduros, but he might be on a standby, so you never know. But even so, if Duran 50 does get himself into the Enduro, then that'll be one to watch out for as we look on board at Duran 50's beginning of his lap, but leading the way of the charge, it is Matt, also we know as Matt Simmons, the 2015 GT Academy winner, taking his beloved Nissan GTR around the glorious track that is the Nurburgring Grand Prix. So rounding up the first couple of corners nice and steady. It is a nice flowing endless left-hander before a nice flick to the right before taking a little breather and heading onto this little back straight before a quick dab on the brake, turn, flick left, flick right, and then first thing you know it, and then next thing you know it, you're up at the Dunlop curve there. So as he's plucking through the gears, 4th gear through to 5th, and possibly staying into 5th gear as he comes down through Dunlop curve, just taking so many different lines there. So I've seen all the drivers in pre-qualifying and even in practice lobbies, the drivers just take different lines through that Dunlop curve because it's a very weird corner that you can take it as a double apex, you can hug the inside, you can take a wide entry and then cut in for a straight line. Who knows?
Yeah, exactly. It's obviously one of those bends that you can have many lines, and some can be faster than others, and some can be slower than others. But it's whatever you feel comfortable. And as you've probably seen in my performance in the Trackstars, somehow I pulled a very quick lap in the Trackstars, to be pinned by Woodsy, but solid performance.
It was. Yeah, there was a great performance there, but as we see Matt cross the line, he's going to set himself up for, can't see that on my screen, it's a little bit blurry, this might have to read the times for me.
It's a 141.1 for Matt, a 141.8 for Viper, 142.8 for, oh, they're all coming past really quickly.
That's the quickness of touring of TS2 qualifying, so they fly. So you don't know where to look at, but yeah, like you said, it looks like it is still Matt leading the way. So obviously, not our monies are going to be taken away from us if Matt does take pole position. So not so sure where Duran 50 ended up. I believe he might be in 3rd place there from what I'm seeing on the screen. So yes, he is in 3rd place. So he's not far away from pole position. But like I said, we do know that Duran 50 is a top quality driver, and if a guy like his pace is going to definitely put a charge towards Matt and Viper said, saying, you know, you boys are top caliber drivers, but you know, I'm in the shadows, and maybe one day I might inspire to be as fast as you guys, if not faster.
Yeah, exactly. So these guys, as you can see, they're really quickly so far, but as we go through the times, we've got a Matt on a 141.1, Viper on a 141.8, Duran on a 142.4, SDRT Mazda still in the pit lane, I believe it's a 142.7, Nightwalker on a 143.4, Xylon with a 143.6, Mickey's with a 144.3, Rugworth with a 144.5, Chef Toddy with a 144.9, RSR Robo Sport with a 145.0. Devlin Calypso with a 147.3. Jono Stan playing around in the sand with a 149.7.
Oh, and he hasn't got time to set a qualifying lap, but that's it. So, but look behind you, it is a championship leader, and Mr. Paul Dumbrell himself, Little Blacko. Where is he? Where is he going to find some pace? So, Little Blacko, he hasn't even set pace. He hasn't even set a time.
That's very surprising, and he's going to have to really pull something out of his pocket there to try and charge through this field. Because as we see, we've got Xylon 96 who qualified in 5th.
He's in 5th place, and he's the only one of the only contenders that can put a halt to Little Blacko's championship charge in TS2, with Xylon 96 up into 5th place and putting on a great performance last time out at Catalunya and stopping that progress that was coming from Little Blacko. But this is going to give Xylon great confidence come the first race of this 10-lapper.
Yeah, exactly.
That is a big shock though. Like, Little Blacko didn't even set himself a time. And Jono Stan right down the back as well. Watch out for Jono Stan as he comes through. So, I mean, yeah, just top names at the rear of the field and top names at the front of the field. So it is a caliber lineup, ladies and gentlemen, that we have here at Trackstars TS2. So strap yourself in for the next 20 seconds. We'll go green light racing. But it is so far Mid-Matt on pole position, followed by Viper Z and Duran 50. So our monies have been taken away, and it is all going to be given to Mid-Matt. He's saying, ha ha ha, I've taken pole position away from you, Duran 50.
Yeah, it's obviously good to be on pole position, but as we've seen previously, even second place might even be the spot to be from Viper Z. You'll be one to watch into the first corner, as second place.
He's got the inside line.
He's actually, he's on the inside line for that run into turn 1.
Exactly, so it's all about that start, and I do believe that Matt and Viper Z weren't really getting the best of starts, but the one guy that used to get good starts is Xylon 96 in 5th place, so watch out for his starts for the first race. But as we lead up towards Trackstars TS2, it is Matt on pole position with Viper Z for the Satellite Racing Team in 2nd, Duran 50 for CP Motorsport in 3rd, and SDRT Madstone 4th with 2nd place in the championship, Xylon in 5th. As we wait for those 4 lights, they're about to go out, and it's lights out, green flag racing, and it's going to be a great even start between Matt and Viper Z. And like you called it, the inside is the perfect line, and Viper Z has taken the lead ahead of Matt. And look at this, Xylon as well has made himself some great progress from 5th place, and he's going to probably move himself up into 3rd before the end of the first sector. But no, he holds 4th, and SDRT Massa goes from 4th down to 6th place there, so only losing a position to Nightwalker there. But wow, a frantic start. But look at back up the front, we did miss it. Matt actually got back and retakes the lead ahead of Viper Z. So it's a great start back for Matt as we catch a quick replay on how that happened. Yeah, he just held the inside, and that inside, and basically if you get pushed out wide on turn 1, you get the advantage of the inside of turn 2.
Yeah, exactly. As we've seen it many times happen in the past. If you on the outside there, you have an inside run, as long as you can get the power down and don't spin the wheels. But looks like Matt's got a little bit of a lead here, but I can tell you one, I wouldn't want to have Viper Z hunting me down in first place.
No, you're definitely not wrong there, but these two very experienced drivers in the FIA World Tour Championships, they definitely know each other's racecraft, and even for a guy like Duran 50, he's going to be keeping an eye on and possibly hoping to get a better start for the next time out. But we did see SDRT Mazda reclaim 4th position ahead of Cylon 96, so as we see a quick replay, we've gone a little bit too far back, so that's okay. He just went from 6th backed up into 4th place, so Cylon still inherits 5th place. But do I see at the back there, is that Jono Stan in 7th place?
It is Jono Stan in 7th place.
That is, wow, so what a great start for Jono Stan. But one guy we have to keep an eye on, DJ, where is Little Blacko? He's right there, he's ahead of Rugworth and ahead of Chef Toddy in the other SDRT Nissan GTR, but in 10th place, whilst his championship rival's in 4th place. I'm not so sure that's definitely not going to be enough to increase his lead in the championship. And he's got his 2 teammates in Mick Keys and Robo Sport, so I wonder if the team game is going to come into play at the end of the race.
Yeah, well, obviously he's got his Mick Keys in front of him, and then his team boss there in Robo Sport, so we'll see if Blacko can push through the field in here. And obviously we know that he, if if I'm correct, he participated in the 24-hour as well.
Yes, he has. He did compete in the 24-hour. He was in the second stint. He ran at the 2 a.m. slot, so the early hours of Sunday morning from 2 a.m. to 5 a.m. And yep, I can see on the car that he is flashing the lights at Mickey's and saying, "Well, Mickey's, I need to get through because I need to make my charge before Zylo 96 because he's that far ahead." And we're only 2 laps into 10 laps, but yes, Little Blacko is competing in the in the 24-hour that we have going on, with associating with Gavra Racing and Trackstars coming together for a special event that is the Le Mans 24-hour. As we look down, Cylon 96 is going to be pressured very soon by Nightwalker and Jono Stan, who's coming from a great drive from, I believe it was 12th place and now up into 7th. But Nightwalker, from that great performance that he had in pre-qualifying, he's going to need to hold that Honda NSX, the only Honda NSX that we have in the field there, and Nightwalker doing a great job to maintain 6th place ahead of a top caliber driver in Jono Stan.
Yeah, exactly. As you see, Matt's pulled out a little 2.3 second lead, so I'm thinking that Viper must have either run wide or got a bit of a penalty there, because his time is a 1:42.999, so that's a little bit off the pace. So
yeah,
I'm assuming that he may have picked up a half-second penalty there or run a little bit wide. So I wouldn't want to do that with Duran 50 hunting him down in 3rd place.
Not wrong there. And even for a guy, even if you look back there, SDRT Mazda, he looks like he's closing in more on Duran 50 than Duran 50 is closing in on 5%. So another signing for the Shade On Racing team in TS2 alongside Chef Toddy. We have SDRT Mazda, an unknown at Trackstars Racing Series. He's just been sending shockwaves in at least when he was racing in the Formulas last time out at the Nurburgring. But now in the touring cars, he's showing a great performance to be up in 4th place and ahead of championship contender in Zylo 96, who Zylo 96 is going to get pressured by Jono Stanford in the next few corners.
Yeah, as you see, Jono Stan obviously made a move on Nightwalker there. We missed that one, but I'm assuming it probably happened down at Dunlop Corner, which a lot of deep manoeuvres happen, and if he's close enough, he should get the slipstream onto Xylon and maybe make a move. If not up here, it'll be on the front straight as long as he can keep close enough.
So what would you do if you were in Zylo 96's shoes with Jono Stan right behind you, and you're getting yourself closer to SDRT Mazda? Would you think you would let Jono Stan go by and possibly slow down Mazda if he makes a move on Mazda and then take 5th position, or would you want to just have a scrap with a top driver, that is Jono Stan?
I don't, you know me, Sputter, mate, I'll battle with anyone, but if I was in Xylon, I would just keep my head down, hit my marks, hit my apexes.
Oh, hang on, I do want to cut there. I do apologise. I see 5% is down in 3rd place, so his race is just going from bad to worse there. So 5% dropped down to 5th place. I wonder if there's a replay of it. Don't think it happened at turn 1, but maybe again, like you may have mentioned, he must have got a half-second penalty or something. But Duran 50 inherits 2nd place ahead of 5%, who also is doing the 24-hour that we are partnering up with Gavra Racing. And basically, like myself and a few others, we're spending the long days and the long hours in front of a TV screen. So a guy like Viper said, I can't blame him if he's not tired.
Yeah, exactly. And obviously he was supposed to be doing his stint very shortly, but obviously we'll see him race the TS2, and then I'm not too sure what the time is, but then he'll go and back up for a 3-hour stint, or possibly 6-hour stint over at the Le Mans circuit in the Viper GT3 F 2015 for to try and bring home the win.
Yeah, so it's only been down to 2 hours because the 24-hour was cut a little bit short and it's been delayed on time through net codes and a few NAT type issues and stuff. So unfortunately, yeah. So unfortunately for them, they can't be able to run the full 3 hours, as we see Jono Stan pick up a 1 second. So now I wonder if Jono Stan knows where his penalty burn zone was. Yes, he does, because he's participated in the Formula, so he knows where they are. They haven't changed, but what was looking to be a fight for 4th position, he's now down in 7th.
Yeah, exactly, and obviously you know as good as myself that a half a second or 1 second penalty can take you from podium contention to be at the back, depending on how close the field is.
Well, we have to think back to our Porsche Cup race in race 1, where we're having a battle for third place, and then I managed to pick up a half second or a second penalty, and I just went from the podium down all the way down to 6. Couldn't recover from there. So that's what the penalty burn points are for, ladies and gentlemen. It's basically like an FIA burn zone where once you hit the zone, you have to automatically slam the brake. You have to slam the brakes yourself, full brake pressure, or at least enough brake pressure to get rid of the penalty without the car rolling too much. But as we see SDRT Mazda and Cylon 96 coming around Dunlop corner, and it's going to be a great charge, and hopefully Cylon 96 is going to hopefully get closer to SDRT Mazda and get one extra position, a few extra points ahead of Little Blacko, which I believe is still stuck behind his teammates in 8th and 9th place. Yes, he is. He's actually gone ahead of Mickey's, but I wonder if Robbo's going to make it a little bit easier on him and maybe let him go by on the last lap, or he might have to do it nice and early. But Little Blacko, without setting qualifying time, he's giving himself pressure, and with a 24-hour stint to come up soon to come within the next few minutes, this is not really helping his cause to get confidence, like at least behind the wheel.
Yeah, exactly, and obviously we are missing JMX as well, he's also in that fight, so we'll wait to see if he can get around and see where he pops up. But at the moment it's looking really nice for Xylon there, who's dropped back a little tiny bit. As we go to the front and we see Mint Matt is checked out with that 7.7 second lead.
It just shows just a top caliber driver that is Matt Simmons, the 2015 GT Academy winner, and for Nissan, and yeah, and like we said, driving for his beloved Nissan there, and a very, very interesting paint scheme that he's got there with the Aussie flag and a bit of red there. So positive that. Do you think that was like maybe a 2-minute job, and then just slap some stickers on and put a fancy decal on the front and then send it?
Yeah, well, if it is a 2-minute job, it's going to be one of the best 2-minute jobs I've seen, because that certainly caught my attention. But it's a very impressive job there.
Yeah, it is, but nothing can impress the presentation of the CP Motorsport cars, especially Duran 50's car there, and even Viper Z. So all the cars here that presented to us in TS2, and even main series, and even what we saw last in the TS3, all the cars are presented very nicely, and you have to give full credit to the designers and for the car schemes, and it just looks amazing. So it's top quality, it's top job for the designers, and hopefully within the next few years and with the next few series, they just get better and better.
Yeah, exactly, and hopefully the capabilities of GT7 can allow us to get more base colours and stuff like that, as we see Jono Stan charge back on the hunt for Xylon 96 here, and if he gets a run onto the main straight, he may have him here at turn 1, so we'll keep an eye on this.
He got a great exit out of that chicane there. That was unbelievable. I believe he was like only a few 7/10ths behind, then within just the chicane, he just got himself back up into 2/10ths. But like you said, Jono Stan 96 making a move on Xylon 96. Funny enough, with the same last numbers there, but they're both sharing the same numbers, 96 and 32. But it is Jono Stan in 5th place ahead of Xylon, who is going to want to keep a hold of that toe that is behind Jono Stan and hopefully close up towards Mazda and even possibly Duran 50 and Viper Z, as we see Duran 50 lose that position to Viper Z. So Viper Z must have made an easy move down the straight into turn 1. So this battle's not over yet between Viper and Duran, but Duran is definitely causing trouble for these top drivers. And I guess in a way, if there was no Matt or Viper Z, then I would think so far, I would believe Duran 50 would be winning the last. That would have been winning at least 9 races in a row.
Yeah, exactly, definitely, and obviously Xylon 96 and JMX and Little Blacko have found these new drivers that have come through to be a bit of a challenge so far.
It hasn't been really much of a challenge for Xylon, because he's getting himself up towards the front, and he is understanding, and he is obviously respecting those top caliber drivers and making their moves. And then once they make a move, he's just going to follow their lines and understand how they drive and how they handle, where they put that car in position and all that. So it's all about just learning. It's learning from those top quality drivers, and learning, and then also learning the fact that you don't want to overdrive these cars, because once you overdrive it, then like we saw in TS3, the back end can really step out, and with these high torque cars, they will spin.
Yeah, exactly. And obviously, if you get too quickly on the throttle, doesn't matter what gear you're in. If it's at high revs, as I've said before, the game will just tell you to send it into the wall. So, and we don't want that. But luckily for these guys, they've got light damage. So if they just keep on driving, it'll wash itself off. But the main series, we've got heavy, and we do have to pit if we do get damage if we don't want to continue the race.
That's right. Unless you want to risk it for the biscuit in a way that you keep the damage on the car and then just go to your fuel number or go to your pit window and then repair it then. But otherwise you pit straight away, like you said. But as we did see back there, Little Blacker did make a move on Robo Sport to take 8th place. So the Robo Sport car's doing Little Black a favour there. So going from 13th all the way up to 8th there. So it's great progress for Little Blacker with one more race to go. So 2 10 lappers, ladies and gentlemen, here at TS2, the same as TS3. So for these guys, it's all about just trying to get that extra mileage, because that second race is going to be very important, because we know that second race, chaos could happen, because it's going to be fighting for keeps here.
Yeah, exactly. And Mint Matt, he can put his feet up, grab some popcorn, and just cruise that thing on home, because he's got a 12.2 second lead over 5% to Duran 50, and then a little bit further back, you've got STRT Mazda.
So John Stan's closing up to Mazda? Yes, he is. So John Stan's got basically, I would say at least from the last row of the grid, from the 6th row of the grid, all the way up towards in the top 5. That's an amazing drive by John Stan, 96 there. So it's a great showing for John Stan, and even it could be even better if he gets himself a 4th position. But the Shadon boys will be looking very closely at this battle. SDRT Mazda versus John Stan, 96. They're going to be hoping the debuting of Mazda can hold out a driver like John Stan, 96.
Yeah, exactly, and obviously we can see John Stan getting a hold of that Lexus as he's closing in very quickly on Mazda. He might make a move into the Dunlop corner if he can shoot it down the inside.
Not just yet, so he's gonna hold back, and John Stan knows that he has to hold back. But if Mazda's gonna put up a fight, he does. So he does cover the inside. He puts his car in the middle of the track, but John Stan finds a little gap. He doesn't think about it, but almost made that stick there. So it's just all about waiting patience. And Mazda's off. He's off. It's a very unfortunate event for Mazda, who wants to be able to catch a quick replay of what we saw there. But Mazda just put it on the middle of the track and just compromised his line on the exit of Dunlop Curve there, where he got the pressure from John Stan and just too much throttle application. And that too much understeer, yeah, just on the gravel. Unfortunate, but very unlucky. But that is the consequence when you do put too much pressure on these cars.
Yeah, exactly. And if being the FR cars, if you do get on the gas too early, it will understeer you into the grass and off into the sand, as we just seen then.
Exactly. So we're getting comments through the YouTube from Bjorn Borg's Undies. The NXS is very competitive. With their only driver in that is Nightwalk 964, and you've got to get some really top. You have to get some really good drivers to drive the Honda to really catch up towards the Nissans and the Lexus. So the Honda is very competitive, yes, but it's all about just who's in the right hands. It's all about having the car in the right hands and understanding how the car works, because the cars that the TS2 drivers have is basically a learning curve, that if they do get promoted to main series, they need to know how the car handles and how to tune it, and basically a tuning series like TS2 gives them that confidence for next year.
Yeah, exactly, and obviously we can see in the main series there that all of the cars are competitive. It's just depending on how the tune goes, and as per the regulations, the Honda is carrying a little bit extra weight compared to the Lexus and the Nissan, but that's just to bring it even to the two cars. Obviously, being the middle engine rear-wheel drive, it does have its strengths in a lot of different ways, and you do have to tune it differently to the Lexus and a Nissan. But you get the tune right, you'll get the win.
Exactly, and the one driver that's getting these tunes right and basically gonna get the win, it is Mid-Matt rounding up the final corner here at the Nurburgring Grand Prix for the final time in race 1. It is Mid-Matt coming across the final corner and taking the checkered flag for the race 1 here at Trackstars TS2 touring cars. It is Mid-Matt taking victory ahead of 5% in second place for the Satellite Racing Team and Duran 50 CP Motorsports. So it is a top 3 Nissan affair in the TS2 class, with right behind them it is going to be, I'm not too sure, John Stan actually, of course, so the first Lexus. of the category in 4th place, but a nice drive there from SDRT Mazda in 5th place with Cylon 96 in 6th, Nightwalker, the sole Honda NSX in 7th place, and Little Blacko getting help from his teammates, promoting himself up into 8th place with RoboSport in 9th, Mikes in 10th. And we've got down the back there Rugworth in 11th for the VL Racing team. In 11th place with Chef Toddy in 12th. And rounding up the rear of the grid is definitely Calypso.
It was a nice solid performance there, and you could see the middle of the pack was actually really close together, and make that one little mistake and you can drop from 3rd all the way to 6th.
Exactly. So I think the drive of the day for that one definitely had to go to John O'Stan there. So all the way from 12th to 4th place. So that's a great drive basically missing qualifying there. But one driver he's going to have to set his eyes forward for in race 2. It is this man, Mid Matt, taking victory here at race 1 here at Trackstars TS2 Racing Series for the Eiffel Sprint at Nurburgring Grand Prix Circuit. So congratulations to the team. And Mint Matt for taking line honours for race 1.
Yeah, and obviously Mint Matt getting the fastest lap there as well. And unfortunately, as we scroll down the results here, Devlin Calypso did actually get the DNF. Didn't cross the line in time.
Even though he didn't cross the line, I'd still believe he will be classified. So, because he did complete, I guess, the regulations 75% of the race, and he has done so. So he's done really well. But running through the grid, it was Matt taking victory ahead of Viper Z, Duran 50 in 3rd place for CP Motorsport. John O'Stan, a great drive from 12th to 4th place, with SDRT Mazda rounding up the top 5, with Cylon 96 second in the championship for the 12 Nash Buds Racing in his Lexus in 6th place, 2 places ahead of Little Blacko in 8th place, with Nightwalker 964 splitting the top 2 championship contenders, with RoboSport in 9th, Mikes in 10th, Rugworth for VL Racing in 11th, Chef Toddy in the other Shadon Racing team, Nissan GTR in 12th, with Devlin Calypso, the sole Speed Demon Racing team, in 13th place.
Yeah, as his other Speed Demon Racing team partner should have been in the TS3, but unfortunately he couldn't make it, but hopefully he can make it next week.
Yeah, like we said, it's I feel I've been talking it through the Discord and even through the Messenger. I feel like tonight's just been a bit of a quiet, been a bit of a weird night. Like it feels like it's been a bit quiet. It's like, at least from what I'm seeing, like at least unfortunately we haven't been able to have a split 2 TS2 race, unfortunately. So yeah, because we only had 4 drivers in the lobby, and I think it was just a majority vote where they just said, well, there's no really much that we don't want to really race because there's only 4 of us. But yeah, they will still get classified for points because they did do the qualifying and they did earn their position. So unfortunately for them, they didn't get to race. But I guess, hey, you get some points out of it.
Yeah, exactly, but if I'm correct, I believe some of those people that would have been in a Split 2 TS2 actually dropped down into that TS3, so that might have been the 6 or 7 drivers that would have been in Split 2 there that would have made the race. So good to see that they're still getting points, but that's obviously the fairness we have here in Trackstars. Everyone gets points if you're competing, so...
Yeah, exactly, and that's what we want to really promote in the Trackstars, that any time you want to race and any time even if you just put a car in and just circulate, if you're not having a good time, like especially for Heath and Pride for the S Racing Esports in the TS3, he didn't know much about it, but he just circulated just to try and get used to the car and used to the league racing again, like he missed so much back in 2015, 2016 days for core racing. Yeah, it's all about just, I guess, if you put an entry in and you circulate the track, whether you're fast or slow, you'll still get points regardless.
Yeah, exactly, and that's obviously the fairness that we have here. Obviously, we try and keep it as realistic as possible, keep all the cars just even, keep all the tuning kind of the same, but obviously down to the different classes and stuff like that. And we do have the Porsche Cup as well. We used to have like a touring car series, but that got put on hold for the rest of the year because we had a lot of things going on. So hopefully, fingers crossed, we can see that come back.
Yeah, exactly. So we've got 2 minutes to go. So DJ, I was wondering if you wanted to introduce about the newest signing that you have for PLE Esports incoming for you, and maybe talk about this surprise person that you have cooped up for the Enduros coming up in September, October, and December.
Yeah, well, obviously we had a bit of driver reshuffles there with Deadpool having to pull out due to personal reasons of the It's Racing Esports camp, and obviously I had Gabans on the PLE side, and Coming For You was down there in the TS2, and I thought, oh well, why not? Gabans is going over there, we'll give Coming For You a shot. So he's just got to get his head around all that kind of stuff, and signings for the Enduro series are starting to come together, and you obviously probably know, as a lot of other people know, is I've signed this man here, Viper said, in the number 56 satellite racing team to be my co-driver for the Enduro series for the rest of the year at Kyoto, Bathurst and St. Croix.
Great signing for you and the team, and he's no stranger to the Lexus, where he actually took over your seat in the Blue Moon Bay Infield A track for the 250, where he actually won and dominated that event. So he's definitely a great signing for you, and hopefully for a combination like you two, and you two have some history as well.
Yeah, well, obviously we're Supercars officials for the main Supercars in real life, so we go to Eastern Creek and Bathurst and Sydney Motorsport Park and Newcastle and stuff like that. He does live probably about half an hour away from me, so we end up seeing each other in pit lane over there, so it'll be a good signing to see. Hopefully we can see if we can perform, and yeah, as you said, he took out the win at the Blue Moon Bay 250, so I signed him, got him to cover. He goes, yeah, I'll cover for you. So he jumped in, covered for me, took the maiden win, which I'm glad for. Got the team some points, and he also took home a trophy.
Yeah, so the PLE takes all the Blue Moon trophies, the Blue Moon Bay 500 and the Blue Moon Bay Infield A 250. So it's a great coup for the PLE, but enough with the main series talk. It is race 2 time here at Trackstars TS2 Touring Cars. It is Matt on pole position again, taking victory in race 1 with Viper Z in second place, but Viper Z is looking to take advantage of the inside line again as we get underway. Green flag racing, Viper Z versus Matt. Is Viper Z going to take the inside line? He has done again, DJ. He's done it, and he's done it perfectly on Matt there. So Matt not learning from his mistakes there, but is Viper Z going to push him wide and not allow Matt to take the inside line? He actually has done so. Viper Z not getting pressure from Matt there, and takes the lead of the Trackstars TS2 Touring Car Series for race 2 here at the Eiffel Sprint at Nurburgring Grand Prix. And as we see, John O'Stan thinks about making a move on Matt there, and he actually moves himself up into 3rd place with Duran 50 in 4th, and Silo 96 right up in the clutches there behind Duran 50, and made a move on Madster as well. As we see little Blacko down there in 7th as well, and Blacko is going to be one to keep an eye on, and hopefully he can get himself closer to Madster, but most importantly close to Xylon 96.
Yeah, exactly, and obviously the start can go many different ways, as we see Nightwalker here try and put a move on the outside, and might run little Blacko a little bit wide there.
He shoves him wide, and he just said, nah, there's no room there for you, Nightwalker, so you're going to have to do it the hard way, and hopefully that Honda is strong enough to hold its brakes, because we do know that the Honda has some very good brakes, and Nightwalker can take really good advantage of that if he gets really close to Little Blacko, especially down towards the chicane coming up. As we see John O'Stan right behind, so what was a lonely 12th place position, but clawed his way up throughout the field into 4th place, and now has promoted himself up into 3rd place. But this is a very familiar sight we've been seeing in TS2 Touring Car Series. It is Viper Z, Matt, John O'Stan and Duran 50, the top four elites with the fastest, I would say regular, every week, every commitment in TS2 driver, Silo 96, you could say, leading the TS2.5 in a way.
Yeah, exactly. Obviously these guys that are coming in, they're extraordinarily fast, and it's put a bit of a shake up on the field there, as we see Zolan still holding his clutches there for 5th, and hopefully for Zolan, if Duran 50 makes a little bit of a mistake or cops a penalty, he may see himself up 4th, trying to hunt down for that podium. But we know that John O'Stan, Matt and Viper are really quickly to around nearly every track that they go to, but Xylon is also fast, so we'll see what he can pull out at the end of this race.
Exactly, and Xylon 96 is really doing a great job holding up Mazda there, and Xylon 96 is just... Whoa! Mazda goes for an inside move there. That was a little bit aggressive there from Mazda, but how did he pull that up? I'm not too sure whether he used Xylon as a bit of a break, or he actually made that move to perfection, timed that to perfection. We're not too sure about that one, so maybe we can see if we can get it on board or something like that. Maybe it might be a little too late there, but Mazda, very ambitious, very late there, and I'm not so sure. That one might have to be looked at, and I don't think Xylon would be a happy camper behind the visor. As we see, actually, as we see, Xylon 96 think about making a revenge move on Mazda. Can he take the inside line? And Mazda turns in on Xylon 96, so Mazda just needs to keep it easy and just take it nice and steady, because Xylon 96 has got his arch nemesis in Little Blacko right behind him, so he needs to make that move on Mazda. As much as Xylon 96 might be a little bit upset about that move that Mazda made, he needs to make that move quickly, and he's got that Lexus power going, charging, steaming forwards. Can he make the move on Mazda at turn 1? No, he doesn't, so he has to stick behind SDR Team Mazda with Little Blacko right behind him. So Xylon versus Little Blacko for 6th place, maybe potential 5th place, but it's not a great, that's not been a great lap and a half for Xylon 96 after that move that Mazda made.
Yeah, exactly, and he might have just shaken up Xylon there, so all he needed to do was just kind of shake it off, put his head back down and see what he can get out of the performance of that nice looking Toll Mash Bloods Racing Lexus there.
It's basically, I guess you could see it just basically running the turquoise colours of the trucks, of the Toll trucks that you see when it comes to delivering packages. Yeah, we managed to get, so here at Mash Bros we did manage to get Toll on board, and they were very happy to be committed back into, put themselves into e-racing, and why not start them off in Trackstars? So the Xylon 96 is the leader of the Toll Mash Buds racing team, and he's doing a great performance in 6th place, but he has to make sure he keeps himself ahead of Little Blacko. As we see Mazda take a half-second penalty there, but unfortunately for Mazda, that is the wrong spot to burn your penalty, so he did not read the driver's briefing, as Little Blacko makes a move for 6th place there, and then even Nightwalker around the outside, surely not, and he has done. So what a move by Nightwalker, and contact has been made between Nightwalker and Mazda, but look up ahead, it is Little Blacko and Xylon 96, the top 2 in the championship, going side by side at the final corner, and Xylon 96 has just got his nose ahead. He needs to defend that inside position, because that inside position narrows in, and he's going to almost do what Michael Schumacher did to Barry Keller at the Hungarian Grand Prix. But Little Blacko makes that move stick with a switchback on Xylon 96. This is an amazing battle between the top 2 in the championship. Xylon 96 and for Mash Buds Racing, Toll Mash Buds Racing, and Little Blacko in for Robert Sport. But Little Blacko looks like he's just taken that position. Unless Xylon can get a cutback here, looks like he has done. He's just got himself a great exit, and he's just going to get a little nose on the outside. But unfortunately, that corner belongs to Little Blacko from Robert Sport Racing. So, wow, great racing from these two. We completely forgetting about what's going up front, because this is basically the battle. This is the battle for the top 2 in the championship. We're seeing a class act from those guys.
Yeah, that was some phenomenal racing there, and obviously going too wide through all those corners, and not one bit of contact there. There's obviously a bit of Robbins racing there, as we see Mazda drop back to 8th because of that penalty there. So Viper's still holding out from mid-map, but it looks like Duran 50's on the hunt to Jono Stan if he's not going to be careful.
Yeah, it looks like he is hunting Jono Stan, so Duran must have just picked himself up a little bit for losing that position, but he is behind Jono Stan, and mid-mat is behind Viper Z. So there's 2 battle packs, one for 1st, one for 3rd. So who's going to come out on top at the end of the race, ladies and gentlemen? Let us know in the chat who's going to come out. Will it be Viper Z for Satellite Racing, or will it be mid-mat to take the double here at the Eiffel Sprint at the Nurburgring Grand Prix? Let us know down in the chat. But it is Viper Z on the end at the beginning of lap 5. Viper Z looking to go defensive on mid-mat. Can mid-mat go around the outside and take the long way around like he did in race 1 at the beginning of the race? He has done, and wow, my goodness, he's done it again, DJ, around the outside on Viper Z. So Viper Z is not really learning from mid-mat, but I guess in a way they know each other so well that there is so much respect between those guys.
Yeah, exactly, and obviously the inside run looks like it's not the line to take on there if you're trying to battle. The outside run, you get a advancement into turn 2, which is obviously what you want leading into 3, 4, 5, and 6.
But then again, if you do take the inside, you want to really try and keep that position level. So you would want to run the drivers just that little bit wide onto the AstroTurf or the extra bit of tarmac on the left, and usually I think that side of the track you do get yourself like a half-second penalty. So even if you do escort them wide, then it's seen as aggressive, but you give them a half-second penalty out of it. So and it gives you a better chance of taking the lead or taking at least a podium position. So maybe a little bit of thinking for Viper said to do on his good friend at mid-map, but obviously respect is shown, and they did show a lot of respect there in that move. So it was a great performance for mid-map, and who's taken the lead of the second race here at the Eiffel Sprint at Nurburgring Grand Prix with Little Blacko, Cylon 96, and we have a disconnect from Chef Toddy. So Chef Toddy unfortunately didn't make the end of the race, so unfortunate for him. With Little Blacko in 5th, Cylon in 6th, and Nightwalker actually doing a great performance in his Honda in 8th place. But I do want to know what happened to Mazda, because I wonder if he got himself another penalty because he's down in 9th place, and Miquez 1, 2, 3 has promoted himself up to 8th place. So don't count out Miquez, because guys like a guy like JMX and Ruckworth down in 11th place, a guy like JMX who's missing from this round, Miquez could possibly throw up a surprise to take 3rd in the championship at the end of this round.
Yeah, obviously like that, and I'll have a quick look at the standings here. We've got JMX on 1164, and we've got Ruckworth behind him on 1098. So we've got Ruckworth down here in 10th place, and then followed quickly behind him is Mickey's on 1076.
So this is what you call a championship blow for JMX, who couldn't make it unfortunately. So Ruckworth and Mickey's, and even Robbo Sport is going to get all the points ahead of JMX there. So JMX will have to, as the old saying goes, get on your horse and hopefully put out a great performance for the next time out at the Trackstars TS2 Racing Series. But as we see, looking up towards 3rd place, it is still John O'Stan fending off from Duran 5th, but Duran 5th is not letting him go. DJ, as John O'Stan is coming towards the chicane here at the back end of the sector, and John O'Stan in the Lexus, and hopefully wants to get a podium for Lexus after what was a disappointing qualifying for John O'Stan. I don't know whether he missed the cut or he just made too many mistakes on his lap, but it wasn't a John O'Stan performance that we know.
Yeah, exactly. Obviously, we know that John O'Stan is usually up the pointy end over there with mid-mat. Obviously, with Viper, he's still in this battle for 2nd place. Obviously, mid-mat's nudged out a little bit time there, as Viper Z has got a little bit of a gap there from John O'Stan himself. But I wouldn't want to be John O'Stan in this point, because you do have Duran 50 charging up in his Nissan line.
Basically, so John O'Stan is meat in the sandwich of a Nissan sandwich in 2nd and 4th place, but it's not over yet. It's just a little bit over 3.5 laps to go. Can John O'Stan think about making a move on Viper Z, the newest signing to Pit Lane Esports for the Trackstars Enduro Series, with Viper Z for Satellite Racing, and John O'Stan in 3rd place, with Duran 50 for CP Motorsports in 4th place, with Little Blacko ahead of his championship rival in Cylon 96 in 5th place and 6th, with Nightwalker in 7th and Miquez 1, 2, 3 in 8th place. But Cylon 96 and Little Blacko are getting quite close to each other, and Miquez wants to get part of the battle as well, because they're holding each other up. It's bringing Miquez into the fold. So 3.5 laps to go, ladies and gentlemen. This is one of the battle packs that you don't want to miss out. I did say race 2 was going to bring out the biff and bring out a bit more aggression, and we're seeing that right now with lots of battling in this race. So fantastic racing here at TS2.
Yeah, it's good to see all these races here having such good close battles. Nothing really dirty going on, no pushing wide, none of this. They're all racing side by side, giving each other room, not hitting each other, still being aggressive, but having fantastic races going on.
So can Silent make the move on Little Blacko with 3 laps to go? He needs to get those positions. He needs to get those points ahead of Little Blacko. He doesn't want to give Little Blacko any chances of extending his championship lead. He needs to close the gap, and he needs to put on that that strong performance that he had at Barcelona last time out 2 weeks ago, where he actually outsmarted and outclassed Little Blacko there. So for Xylon 96, it might be. I think it might be a game. It might be a turn in the tables for Xylon 96, where Little Blacko took out the first 8 victories, 8 wins in TS2, and looked like his championship was never going to be touched there. But Xylon 96, within the last, I'd say 4 to 5 rounds, Xylon 96 has been showing great performance and is not giving up on this title fight, because it's the rivalry. Told Mash Buds Racing and Robbo Sport, it's one for the ages.
Yeah, exactly. As you see, EBM Brandosa down there saying, please don't mention that Ballas with the Lexus when DJ is in the room. It's a good old conversation to have, Brandosa. So we actually had a chat about that a little bit earlier.
Yeah, exactly. So, as we look down, so we have to keep an eye on that DJ once it gets towards the end. But this is another one that we want to keep a battle for second place. Vipers, they're just losing a little bit of confidence, not getting the tune that he wants for this tracker. But Mid-Matt is just sailing away and just going to possibly take out a clean sweep. Hopefully no commentator curse on Mid-Matt, and that's the last thing he would want. But I think knowing Mid-Matt and everyone knowing Mid-Matt, he is a cool character and he knows how to bring a car home in a way. But one guy that needs to keep that car pointed forwards and in second place, 5%, versus John O'Stern versus Duran 50. Looks like Duran's drifted a little bit further away from John O'Stern than probably the last couple of laps, where he was actually in contention to fight for third place there. So Duran just holding back and just thinking, well, there's another round going by, but luckily you pick this up, DJ. Xylon 96 versus Little Blacko. And what happens here? Is Xylon going off? No, he hasn't. Just that camera just took a very long time. And I thought Xylon 96 had a little bit of a spin there. So that's a bit of a heart and mouth moment for the team boss. Xylon 96 giving it a good charge on Little Blacko there with 1.5 laps to go. Can Xylon 96 take 5th place ahead of Little Blacko, or can Little Blacko hold on to 5th place? This is going to be one to look back on, ladies and gentlemen, for the history books between Little Blacko and Xylon 96. This could be the turning point. This round could be the turning point for Xylon 96, just like Barcelona 2 weeks ago. So can Xylon 96 get close to Little Blacko with 1.5 laps to go?
I'd like to say he can. He's in that little tiny bit of contention there, and you know as well as I do, the Lexus has some guts and some grunt in that little old slipstream.
It does, and the car is a very slippery car in a straight line, and as we see that with John O'Stan and Viper Z. But actually, we don't want to talk about John O'Stan. Xylon's made a huge mistake. He just got a little bit twitchy there, and that's offered up Ninth Walker to make a move on the inside. So is he going to make that stick on Xylon 96? They don't make it stick, but they go side by side through the chicane, and wow, what an amazing move. And here's Madstar coming on to the inside there. So this is not what Xylon wanted. He wanted to be challenging for 5th place, not holding and fighting for 6th place. So Xylon needs to get that car to the right-hand side as quickly as he can, or is he going to think about taking the long way round and maybe possibly get himself up towards the 5th place? As we see Nightwalker think about a move, he doesn't, but a contact is made, and Nightwalker is around, and he's had a bit of a spin there, half spin there, but he's recovered it. And Mick Keys is coming up onto the inside of Nightwalker there, and Xylon 96 is getting pressured by Mazda from Shade On Racing Team, and Mazda takes 6th place. This is what not Xylon wanted, and it's contact. So this has been more of a revenge shot for Xylon 96 of what happened to Mazda, as we see a quick replay of how Mazda overtook him, and yeah, just a little bit of pushing and shoving between Xylon 96 and Mazda, so a little bit of aggression going on between the two boys. And yeah, I think Xylon's getting a bit of justice serving for Mazda. As we see down towards the grid, it is still Xylon 96 in 6th place with Mazda in 7th, with Mazda in 7th place. Mickey promoted himself up into 8th place, and Nightwalker unfortunately being demoted down to 9th place. But as what we thought was going to be a 5th place position, is now going to be a fight for 6th place for Xylon 96 and Mazda. As we look up towards the front for the final time for race 2, it is a clean sweep victory for Mid-Matt. So congratulations to Mid-Matt for taking out the TS2 race 2 and the Eiffel sprint with the fastest lap on the last lap. So wow, that's just class, DJ. With Viper Z in 2nd place, couldn't get John O'Stan, couldn't get Viper's there, but it looks like he made a mistake there as well, or maybe picked up a penalty there. So something not right there for John O'Stan. So unfortunately for him, as we see Little Blacko in 5th place, but there's one we need to keep an eye on, 6th place. Who's got 6th place? It is Cylon 96, just ahead of Madster there, ahead of Nightwalker, Mickey's 1, 2, 3, and Rugworth in 9th place. So, wow, what a race!
That was fantastic. That was some phenomenal racing from the boys there. A little push goes to shove there. What you deal is what you're going to get back, because as we know, karma can come in and bite you on the butt.
Exactly. Well, that's basically that's how, I guess in a way that's how the old supercars used to work back in the day. You hit somebody off, you just return serve a few laps later.
Yeah, why not? But
exactly.
Excellent running here by Matt to take the clean sweep of the German Eiffel sprint around the Nurburgring, followed by Viper Z, Duran 50, John O'Stan and Little Blacko rounding out the top 5.
And nobody can stop this man here, ladies and gentlemen. Matt in his beloved Nissan GTR, taking the clean sweep and the fastest lap on that final lap there. So it was a great performance, a Brocky-esque kind of lap there. We're just putting out banging out fastest lap on the last lap. So why not? But as we look up towards the result page, it is Matt, Viper Z and Duran 50 actually taking that 3rd place away from John O'Stan. So like we said, John O'Stan must have made a big mistake somewhere for Duran 50 to take 3rd place. So it's a little gift for Duran 50, unless John O'Stan made some contact somewhere, but we didn't catch on camera. But the most important thing as well, Little Blacko ahead of Cylon 96. So that's going to give Little Blacko a little bit more confidence heading towards the last 10 rounds of the Trackstars TS2 Championship, ahead of his rival in Cylon 96, SDRT Mazda on debut in the touring cars in 7th place there, with a bit of biff and barge and a nice little rivalry with Cylon 96. So that'll be one to talk about in the debrief, with Nightwalker putting on an exceptional performance with the only Honda NSX in 8th place, with Mickey's rounding up in 9th and Rugworth in 10th, followed by RoboSport, the leader of the RoboSport racing game. We'll be delighted for Little Blacko's progression towards the front, but maybe not so happy with his performance down in 11th place, with Devlin Calypso rounding up the top 12, with Chef Toddy being the only DNF runner here at Trackstars TS2. So that is it. Wow. I mean, we have to start with that battle between Matt and Viper Z, Little Blacko, Cylon 96, SDRT Master DJ. I'm running out of fingers here of how many battles they were today.
Yeah, you need a few more fingers there, mate. Might have to start counting your toes.
Exactly. But that was great fun. That was great fun to watch, and thank you for filling in the void for It's Racing. And hopefully you enjoyed it as much as I did, and hopefully we might be able to get you back in the comm box a little bit more.
Yeah, I did. It was nice to join and nice to fill in, and hopefully Jarman's out there. His grandfather's alright, but it's a pleasure that I could do what I did, and thank you for joining me in the commentary box. But it's until next week. Thank you all for joining, from myself, Ryan Palmer, Disappointed, and Nicholas, who's NSpud P666, and It's Racing in Thought. Thank you all for joining for the TS2 around here at the Eiffel Sprint.